much sense until that part of the segment.
That was the point.
They didn't announce a corresponding move with
We do not have.
Smeltzer going down, right?
No, sir, not
Do you
yet.
think it could be Brusdar Graterol, who's been pitching as a closer his last 2 outings since coming off the IL?
I don't think it's going to be yet, but do I think it should be? Absolutely. Yes. Bring the kid up. He throws the gun at Double-A 2 nights ago, in which I believe he got a save, pitched an inning and walked 1. I don't think he struck out a guy, but the gun on the scoreboard there was 102 miles per hour. So let's say that's 99 or something. Yes, he would be. I'm not saying bring him up and start him. I'm not saying bring him up and abuse him as far as how much he pitches. But if I need a guy to go in and throw gas, get him here now. You've done a little bit, but not enough, right?
Sure.
Like, Dyson. Okay, that's not bad if he's healthy and can pitch. Romo came here and has been pretty good, but you need to do more. If you have another dominant arm from that pen, and let's say you're comfortable with Dyson, Romo, Rogers, and Graterol can come in and throw gas to a couple guys, absolutely.
Are you concerned that it's a little bit too big of a moment for a guy that's never pitched in AAA? That's only been in AA for a little bit.
That's why I want to do it now to find out.
Yeah,
what I don't want to do is I don't want to wait till the Cleveland series and be like, oh boy, could we use him now? Bring him in the next, Texas, right? It's the Rangers. Yeah, but Chicago. I'm not even sure. Detroit. These teams don't really care.
Sure.
But the last thing I want to do is feel a need to be like, now it's the Cleveland series. You know who we need? Brusdar. That's setting him up to fail.
Yeah.
So get him here now.
Yeah. Let him get acclimated to it.
Absolutely.
Let the pressure, let the moment build for him rather than bringing him in mid-September and throwing him right in the middle of a blazing fire while you're trying to win a division. But I think if he's hitting 102 and if the hype is real, that could be a game changer if you have that kind of guy at the back end of your bullpen.
The thing that concerns me about him is that he is throwing that hard, which is obviously really impressive. Like, not a lot of people can do that, but he's throwing that hard in AA and not really striking guys out. Like, his K to 9 innings is only 9. And for a guy that throws 102, you would like to see that be a lot higher. If you're not striking out more than one guy an inning at AA with that kind of stuff, how is that going to play when you're facing the best hitters in the world? Because you're not doing it in AA. You're not facing.
It could be interesting.
You're not facing really good guys. If all you're doing is throwing hard, that's not necessarily going to translate to a lot of success in the big leagues. Because if it's hard and straight, guys are going to hit it.
Your concerns are justified, but at this point, and this is always the question with bullpen, what better options do you have?
That's true with the Twins, but I'm just trying to temper expectations to not expect this kid to come up because he throws hard, expect him to be Aroldis Chapman because he's not going to be that right away.
No, I don't expect him to be that right away at all, but I do think that having an arm like that at the back end of your bullpen can be a game changer in September.
Absolutely, and I think we all agree on this. You've got a good team here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to take some chances. Like you didn't. Okay, so you wouldn't give up top prospects for a starter. I don't agree, but you didn't. All right. You made a couple of nice bullpen ads, but they're certainly not this overwhelming, oh my gosh, you got this guy locking down games, right? You've got to take some chances. At some point in time, you got to go outside your comfort zone. And I'm guessing that promoting this kid from AA is going outside the comfort zone of the executive staff of this team, and it's taking a chance. But if I'm going to do that, let's do it now and let's see. So that he can come into games and predicaments probably that aren't going to be as important as if I get to the Cleveland series and I need him then. You've got to take some gambles here. Everything can't be cautious.
The one thing I don't want is him to be part of the shuttle back and forth. Like bring him up here, bring him up here, and if it works, keep him here, and if it doesn't, send him back down and continue the development at AA. But I don't want him to be part of the shuttle.
Do you worry that if it doesn't work up here, that confidence becomes shaken, and that we've seen guys that have been called up too early, and then it doesn't work out that first time, and sometimes it never works out.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be the first guy to come up and struggle.
But is he too important to let that try and happen?
No,
to where you could not ruin him, but certainly stunt his development.
No, for the same reason why I said I would trade prospects at the deadline. Nobody is too important at this point.
No,
you have a chance to win a World
I'm with
Series.
you that they should have traded prospects at the deadline. I think everyone should have been on the table. They should have been looking into trades. Royce Lewis and Kirilloff and Graterol and all these guys should have been on the table. I'm with you there.
As a starter, yes. I would not start him.
No.
But I'm bringing him in situationally to attempt to blow guys away, basically. Okay. So if he gives up some hits, he does. Too bad. Now, if I started him, I don't like that.
No, I
That's
think
too much pressure.
him as a starter right now would not go well.
But if I have to go out, if there's 2 outs and 2 guys on and he throws gas in the 8th and he gives up a hit, okay, that's okay. But if he strikes the guy out, that's great. So if I started him, I think I would probably stand the chance of shaking his confidence significantly, and I don't like that. But as a guy coming in and me saying, okay, your first game's against the Tigers, dude,
Just go in and get a couple guys out.
I think that'd be fine. I really do think that'd be okay.
The other thing I kind of worry about, although I don't know that it would be the worst scenario in the world, but you bring him up here and he's just gas in the bullpen for you and looks like, I don't know, pick a closer. Mariano Rivera for you.
Gossage.
Right. Goose Gossage, whoever the guy might be.
K-Rod,
then-
the Angels basically
K-Rod?
did this with Francisco Rodriguez.
Was he a starter in the minors?
I don't think so. I think he was a reliever in the minors, but
I'm-
they brought him up as he was like 20 years old the year they won the World Series, and he was just throwing gas and blowing everybody away in September. And he stayed on the playoff roster.
I'm thinking more what happened with Josh Hader, where he was a starter. They brought him up and brought him out of the bullpen. And at first it was like, no, this is a temporary thing. We just need the arms out of the bullpen. And then he was so good back there that they were like, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just keep him down there in the bullpen and see if we have Andrew Miller 2.0.
And now he just gives up all the home runs.
Right. Because the window, like, I'd rather Gratterall go back to being a starter at some point
Sure.
if they bring him up as a closer, because
Yeah.
the window of success for closers and relievers as a whole is so
And that's
much
fine.
shorter.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And I think the Brewers probably would rather that Josh Hader
But-
were a starter these days too, with the way their rotation
If this keeps
is.
going, yeah.
But this team has to do things that it doesn't want to do eventually.
Mhm.
And they didn't trade for a starter. They traded for some, but not top line bullpen help, right? So if you now have a chance to make a move and get this kid up, and you're like, we really don't want to at some point, and I say, too bad, you got to do something here. Like this team is too good to keep saying, but you know what we're really concerned about, Judd, is 2021.
Well, they've put themselves in this position. They have no
Absolutely.
one to blame but themselves for this.
But-
But no one to
But
blame.
that's my grand point here, is that because of that, your hand has to be forced at some point. Like everything can't be a no.
Yeah, you're right.
Everything can't be 2019's fun, but just wait. The hubris of that statement to me is ridiculous.
Because you don't know what the future is going to hold.
No.
How many teams have we seen that? Oh, just wait, we're going to be good next year, or in 2 years from now is our time.
Right.
It might never come. This might be your best chance that guys like Byron Buxton and Eddie Rosario and all the young guys on this team, Jorge Polanco, this could be the best chance they ever have to win. There's no promise you're ever going to get back.
You think you have a chance to compete for a while, you know you're competing right now. And you
Yes,
go with
exactly.
what you know.
Exactly.
And I can't say that they entirely have themselves to blame for the bullpen problems, because that's just a baseball problem. Starting rotation, yes, they didn't do anything to add or bolster to that, but they did as much as really anybody to bolster their bullpen at the trade deadline. When you look at the moves that were made around baseball, they did as much as anybody to help the bullpen. Bullpens just suck right now.
Sure, but they've got a chance.
Across Major League Baseball.
But they've got a solid opportunity to do more right now, and they need to do that.
Let's look what happened to my Cubs last night.
Yeah, that was a majestic home run.
That Bryce Harper home run is still going.
Back-to-back nights, they've gotten great outings from Quintana and Darvish, and
Your
the
club
bullpen blew it.
on the road.
I thought 2 nights ago they gave up like 10 runs in the first inning.
Cole Hamels was awful.
Oh, yeah,
2
no,
nights
it was
ago.
the first and third games of the series.
I was
Darvish
going to
and,
say they got
Quintana.
destroyed the
Yeah,
You
one.
know what
no,
the
you're
key
right.
is? Phillies, we found it. Old people. Charlie Manuel, man.
Have you heard of
No, and
75 years old, and they're hitting the crap out of the baseball now. This is it. We're going back to old people.
the key is that
Believe you kids in your analytics.
you, Rami, Declan, and Manny, if we faced off against the Cubs at Target Field, we win. If it's at Wrigley Field, we get smoked. At Target Field, we win.
Have you seen him chanting Charlie after home runs
It's great.
in Philadelphia?
I love Philadelphia. I mean, people hate them, but I love them.